Hey, what's going on, everybody? Another Tuesday night live stream. Jason just in the background. He's on a phone call right now. So I'll wait till he gives me the old signal for we're good to go. But yeah, a little bit different than just our conventional kind of my own live stream tonight. We're going to do a single barrel selection of Sagamore. So we haven't actually done a kind of a live barrel pick in quite some time. So Sagamore is one that's a fan favorite of not only ours, but I think for a lot of people, they do absolutely fantastic things. So we'll be selecting out of 4 samples that we have tonight. Obviously, with everything at Sagamore is all bottled at 110 proof. And I believe this is a blend again of 2 mash bills. So when we say single barrel, there is some blending going on with 2 mash bills, I believe. So we'll be kind of selecting the same type of things that we've had in the past. We're probably just going to be dealing with, at this point, more age. And I think, according to what Jason said, one of these is approaching 10 years old. So that'll be pretty cool. So we're looking forward to doing another one of these picks and getting you guys some great bottles. Usually they yield a pretty good amount. So that will be great for you guys or for everybody who is part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. I'll say, for some reason, if you aren't, consider joining. I think you'll enjoy what it is that we have going on. So we try to get as much of the best whiskey that we have to choose from. And yeah, we're picky and we try to again get you guys as much good stuff as we can. So speaking of that, in a couple weeks, we've got a really kind of quick turnaround of 2 picks we're doing. We're going down to Ben Holiday and Cedar Ridge in a 2-day period. So we'll be at Cedar Ridge we'll be at Ben Holiday Thursday, February 20th, and then we'll be the next day in I guess it's like Cedar Rapids or something close to there anyway. And we'll be at Cedar Ridge Distillery Friday, February 21st. So a lot of stuff going on with that. And again, just, a testament for us, just trying to do as much great stuff as we can for you guys. So that's what we have. We'll chat a little bit about that. So let me bring him on here. Looks like he's good to go. There he is.
What's up, beautiful people?
What's up, beautiful people? So as you could maybe heard, I was just chatting a little bit about what we have coming up with Ben Holiday and Cedar Ridge. That's going to be a lot going on in a 2-day/3-day period of time. That's for sure.
Yeah. 3 days of driving, traveling, tasting whiskey, driving back, and whatever. It's going to be all for the good of the group, right?
Yeah, you got to. This is part of what we do for you guys. So it's a lot of hustle, it's a lot of work, but it's also rewarding, and we appreciate each and every one of you for all the support. It's fun to still continue to do this stuff. So as long as you guys are kind of still on board with all of what it is that we're doing, we'll keep doing it as long as you guys want this stuff. So anyway, all right, let's talk a little bit about Sagamore. So 110 proof. We've got what, 9-year stuff.
These are all between 9 and 10 years old. He said a couple of these are closer to 10. He didn't tell me which ones those were though. But yeah, Max has a good question. No tinfoil hat, but how is this a single barrel if it's an 80-20 high rye and low rye blend and not double oaked? So how it works is, I forgot which mash bill it is. I believe the low rye mash bill is aged as a single barrel, like they're just aging their barrels for however long, and then at the end they blend in 20% because it's mainly that low rye. It's mainly the high rye. So what they do is maybe it's the other way around. I'm trying to remember what he told me. Anyway, basically one of those mash bills is matured to a certain certain amount of time. Then they take the other mash bill, whether it's the 20 or the 80, it's probably the 20, which is the lower proportion.
Right.
Then they add that in to the barrel, and then that just kind of stays in there. Just to see, how it goes, or they tank it, then they put it back in the same barrel. Not really sure how it works or what he said, but the majority, I believe it's the majority, so probably the 95.5 is what ends up being a majority of the single barrel flavor
Yeah.
profile.
Yeah,
So.
that's why, like, when we say single barrel with this, yeah, you got to take that with a grain. We're selecting a barrel that it is now. So, again, you're going to have not different necessarily components, but still you've got different barrels that are playing in. So they theoretically should have some subtle differences, and hopefully that's what we'll be picking out
No,
tonight.
he sent me an email on it. So let me get this straight here. Sagamore. Man, these smell good already. I could smell them underneath my nose.
Yeah, they do. They have this kind of like there's a little bit of a maple that's coming off of these things. That's for sure.
Yeah. No. Let's see here.
Steve's willing to. He's only an hour, so he's willing to pick up a case so he can tell everybody how it tastes. Yeah, there's so many great people in the club. That's for sure.
Yeah. So okay. So they actually just take the two mash bills and they blend them together, and then they throw that in a barrel, and that stays and mingles over time, and then that's how it's done. That's how they end up with a single barrel version of their whiskeys, which is interesting. It is kind of like I don't know, kind of like a weird way, I guess, around it being, to his point, maybe it's double oaked in some certain way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really no different than when we say, hey, we're going to select a single barrel double oak. I mean, it's like, okay, it really, so, I mean, it's just whatever that other barrel is that they've thrown it in. Obviously those two mash bills are now put into whatever the final oak is. So, you never know what those nuances that final barrel is going to kind of implement on the whiskey. So we'll find out. We'll find out tonight. I mean, I'll say this. I think a lot of us have been waiting a long time to be able to taste and try 9 and 10-year-old Sagamore stuff, whether it's their own or a blend of whatever. They have absolutely fantastic whiskey. So
for each age about 40, the new small batch. Okay. Yeah, they just blend this shit together, throw it in a barrel. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so we have like a mini blend in the final single barrel. If that makes sense. If that makes sense. So, but
I know there was like a method to the madness. When I talk to David again over there, I'll ask him about it again. He was talking so fast about the samples and everything else. I'm like, yeah. So we also was a little bit of a surprise, guys. We also got 3 barrel reserve single barrel selections, which are finished. So one of them is a cognac cask finish. One of them is an Amontillado, which is a form of sherry. And the other one is a Pinot de Charente, which is also, I believe, it's either a white wine or also a form of sherry, I believe. Anyway, those 3 finishes I will talk through. I didn't have enough of a sample to send Scott. They only sent me a little bit of these just to try them. I'm not really sure if these are on the table or off the table. We'll get into those a little bit later and how those are. I did try them last night for the first time. They've been opening up overnight, so I'll dive into that a little bit later. But first, really, we want to dive into these. So,
yeah, looking forward to these. So, do we want to give anybody any updates on kind of what's coming this week and maybe what to look forward to?
Yeah, sure. You wanna drop the big news for Friday?
Yeah, so Friday we're finally going to be releasing our Driftless donuts. So that stuff is we're again kind of, I don't want to say behind, but we're going to be getting our bottles late. So I know a lot of times you guys want tasting notes and all of that. I don't know if we'll even honestly be able to give you guys. We may not even have our bottles by the time the thing releases. So the only thing I can say is, with these are just going to fall in line with just more of the delicious Driftless bourbon and rye. That's what we have, a bourbon and rye this go around. So, if you trusted us on any of the others, I'll say trust us on these. I mean, again, it's going to be more fantastic whiskey. If for some reason we get our bottles before the launch on Friday, we'll give you, or I'll give you, whatever it may be, some tasting notes. Whoever gets bottles first, we'll do whatever we can, but I don't know if we can make that promise right now.
All right, Scott, I can definitely talk to the tasting notes.
Okay, good.
I went through your samples.
Yeah.
later, and I could actually send you the stickers if you want to show them.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let me show you guys. We can upload the stickers. That's the bourbon, and then this is the rye. So let me here, Scott. I just sent those to you now, so you can upload those and show everybody. So
right. You just emailed them.
Yeah, I just emailed them. I'll wait here until Scott shows the labels because.
Let's see.
Well, no, download them. Oh, you can't download them on a computer, can you?
No, oh yeah, here. Yeah, I can. Hang on a second.
Yeah, download them there and then upload them to StreamYard so you could show them the whole thing.
Okay. All right. Let me do that real quick with that one. Give me 1 second. Back out of that.
Yeah, the Driftless Rye is crazy. Couldn't you just delay the drop till tasting notes are released? Chip, I can tell you the tasting notes right now. So you'll as soon as you guys see the stickers.
Give me 1 second here.
So it's interesting, the tasting notes. So the bourbon is one of the oldest bourbons that they had when they went and tasted them. They weigh about 5 pounds a piece. What will the shipping rates be? We don't know, Mike. It's flat shipping. It's about $20 from shared pour either way. So I think you're okay. So the rye, I could tell you, the rye whiskey is crazy. It is extremely fruit forward. And you want to show them the rye label?
Yeah. Let's see.
That's the red label donut. Whoa.
Oh, that's not what I want. I put them in the wrong spot. Sorry.
Yeah. Put it in the overlay. Spot.
I put it in the wrong one. All right, let me do that again. Here we go. Yeah, that was a lot of sticker before.
You put it as the background.
I did. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
All right, so here is the rye sticker.
This is the red one. There we go.
There it is.
All right,
we've called it Fruity Pebble Spice because it's got this intense fruit forward flavor. Again, we name these after crazy fun donuts. So some of the flavors are right there. A fruit forward rye whiskey with notes of grape, orange, watermelon, and this crazy spicy finish on the back end.
It was crazy, man. It is a different profile. I will say that. Like even when we were there, we were all kind of amazed by what this thing had. So
yeah, so that is those are the flavors of the rye whiskey. I mean, there's no way around it. It's got this great spice. Now the first one, the bourbon, somebody said to kind of make an homage to Fred with the time to make the donuts guy. So this is time to drink the bourbon. And this actual sticker was basically made because this Driftless bourbon is, so if you remember some of our other Driftless bourbons where they were very I don't know, there was like this punch of like raspberry or some of those like fruit forward flavors that you get with Driftless. I think this being an older profile, this drew in more molasses and dark caramel and heavy vanilla. It's extremely viscous. So it's kind of like an old-fashioned donut. It's like an old-fashioned bourbon profile, but from Driftless. But on the back end of it, you get that Driftless like signature, almost like that hint of maltiness that it has on the back end of it. And so that's why you have those stickers. And they couldn't be two more polar opposites. With these. You have this fruit bomb of a rye, and then you have this like rich molasses heavy version of a bourbon. So those are the flavor notes, and we have some pretty good yields on these from what I was told.
Yeah,
and we'll have price points to you guys soon. So
yeah, it was the bourbon the bourbon one was a little bit, it was tough because I think we've all, like Jason said, we've all gotten so used to like picking out these different notes like typical, but this as they've gotten older, like that was a great representation, that old-fashioned donut. Like it has this older bourbon kind of profile, rich, thick, viscous, all of that. So I mean, you've got like polar opposites of each other. So like if you enjoy one for whatever that is, you'll enjoy the other for what the opposite factor of that is. But again, I think this just falls in line with more, just more great stuff from Driftless. So, and we are slated to be one of the only groups to get 10-year stuff. So I don't know if that will happen this year, maybe into 26, but we were one of maybe a handful of groups, maybe that will be getting anything with 10-year stuff. So
the bourbon only has 138 bottles, so that kind of plays into the richness of it. I'm not going to say it's a shorty, but it's kind of borderline shorty. And then that Fruity Pebbles rye has 174 bottles of that, so that's plenty. These are all going to be limit 1, guys. We're not doing like any more limit 2 unless there's like 500 bottles, because everybody loses their fucking mind. So we won't do that. Now, also in the pipeline, you guys remember in July, we went on my birthday. We went to MGP, and we also did all those Lux Row tastings, the Penelope tastings, Rossville Union, Remus High Rye. We picked 11 barrels total, basically. So some of those are starting to roll out, and you guys have to remember, these are being split between 5 different groups. So, and I'll pull up the email here, and I could let everybody know exactly how this is working.
Yeah, we'll say this, as Jason, we are not going to be able to appease everybody with what we've got. It's impossible to do. Nobody can.
I'm sorry, 6 different groups. Yeah. So the first 2 that are going to be releasing is our Ezra. We did an Ezra Stay Finished bourbon, which I think was the French oak chocolate stay finish. And then we did a straight up Ezra Brooks 7-year cask strength bourbon pick as well, single barrel. Yeah. Now, again, we did this with 21090. It's bourbon night, bourbon of the week, Dusty Dan, and Stuff and Whiskey. All 6 of us had, a say in these barrels. So they're really, they're very well selected barrels. They're curated. We went through all this back and forth with a few of these, but the problem is between 6 groups, it's not many to go around. The Ezra Stay Finish that we picked was a short barrel, of course.
Yeah.
And there's literally 12 bottles each for the group. 12. Yeah. On top of that, the Ezra Cask Strength is 30 bottles each for the group. Now, the Ezra Stay Finish is going to be $60, and the Ezra 7-year cask strength bourbon will be $84.99. So those are the prices, and they should be a rollout here soon. I don't know if we have an exact date yet, but those will release soon. Now, the one thing is that if you don't get it through our group, and if you're a member of another group, feel free to support them and get it through them as well. Scott and I, we are not sure how we're going to release these yet. I'm going to actually talk to It's Bourbon Night and Stuff and Whiskey. 12 bottles of this one thing. How do you even do that? 30 bottles of the other one. It'll be gone in the first tier. So I'm not really sure how we're going to do this exactly yet, but we will talk about it and figure it out.
Yeah, so. It's just a difficult, obviously we want everybody to have everything, but we knew when we started talking with them about how they were going to split everything up, we couldn't pass up the opportunity. The opportunity was too good, but we knew this would be the difficult part. And that's maybe where we are. So yeah, Mary, it's like, we don't know like what the right thing to do is.
Maybe a lottery. Yeah, maybe a lottery, charity raffle. That's a good idea. I don't know. The problem is, BT, is that there's 11 of these barrels and they're all going to drop at different times. So I'm not really sure how this is going to work. All groups need to do a fantasy draft and have barrels go to groups instead of split.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously the easiest thing to do is release whatever you have. You guys as the group, like if Jason and I decide to release everything, let's say I'm just going to make it up because I don't know. If we release it all at one time, collectively, you guys have more bottles because we're 2 that you guys are getting for a package. So that's the only way it makes this like larger if we did it that way. But we're still releasing them like under our own Patreon stuff. But man, this is a tough one because we know a lot of people are not going to get these bottles.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. I mean, I kind of like might just be a top tier thing. They do pay the most, even though I'm in lower. I'm good with that. Yeah, but Jay, there's not going to be enough bottles that every time we drop one of these 11 barrels, the top tier is going to get everything. Yeah. And while, yeah, I understand they pay the most, but that's also not exactly fair when you have 12 or 30 bottles and 11 barrels. Now, if it was the only one we had, yeah, then sure. But you have 11 of these. And I feel like what we need to do is maybe just do a sign-up sheet. Who's interested in buying this? Who's interested in buying that? And we'll just kind of do a lottery and go from there. I don't know. Like, yeah. Again, I'm going to talk to the other groups, see how they plan on doing it, and maybe they have better ideas than we do. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a tough one. We'll try to figure out whatever will kind of, I guess, hopefully work the best. There is no perfect way, but we'll figure something out. So,
Stephen Wall sounds like a cluster. I mean, yeah, a little bit. It's not that it's a cluster. I think we're releasing it kind of systematically. And again, if you don't get it through us, go support Dusty Dan, 21090. Other groups will have these out there. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
it's definitely a tough cake to slice. That's actually a great way to put it.
Yeah,
you can always do a lottery weighted by tiers more. Yeah, Mike, that was the way I was thinking about it, Mike Ives, where whoever wants it, like the top tier gets 5 entries each, the next one gets 4 entries each, 3, 2, and 1, and then so on. And then maybe that's how we do it. So it's a little bit more weighted towards the upper tiers. So you have a bigger chance, almost like the way the old NBA lottery used to work.
Yeah. So, you got more ping pong balls.
More ping pong balls per thing. So
yeah, well, we'll try to figure out whatever we can for you guys. So
Kraken says, give them all 11 and move on to the next 11. I don't know, just the idea of picking another 11. That was 80. Remember we counted, it was 80 something samples in 2 days we tried.
It was a lot. It was a lot of whiskey. I don't think any of us really were even prepared for like what that was. We had, it was like, I remember counting. It was like, we had 5 of this, we had 5 of that, 4 of this. I remember doing the math. It was like 85 samples total in 3 days. And that's excluding the stuff we were drinking like in between, like just to, hey guys, try this, and that wasn't part of the pick thing. So it was nuts. It was a lot. I will say this, one of the funniest things, and it's a bit ironic, but one of the funniest things was we did have a single malt that we had ended up choosing, and for whatever reason, probably because I was the one like taking the longest trying to figure things out, I became the default. It was tied between everybody, and somehow this idiot right here became like the tiebreaker. So
yeah, because you hate malt. So we were like, get the guy that hates malt to pick what he actually likes out of the one. So
I think I was just trying to fly under the radar and be like kind of forgotten on that one. But it was I had to be a tiebreaker.
How many of those 11 barrels do you really want for the group? Yeah, the Yellowstone single malt's going to be a tough sell. I don't think those are going to move, to be honest. Now the rosé. The Penelope Rosé cast strength.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than you probably think. That thing was good.
I would agree. This was, I mean, overall, this was unique and fun. I mean, this was an opportunity that not many people have. So, again, as complicated as all of this is for us, we're also giving you guys something that not many other people, like those other groups that were with us that we collectively did, will have this, and that's it. So.
We can't take, Max, we can't like take, our group wants to take the 2 Ezras and you don't get any. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Do a sign up and let people only sign up for 1 and then random it off, says Kenneth Clark. Might be a good idea too.
I guess the thing is, if we do that with a sign up sheet and people say they want to be part of anything or any bottle, maybe make it that. Maybe not even make it exclusive to a bottle. that's maybe a good point. Like, what about just completely making this like random? Like, I know, like, is that a possibility where you just put your name in and like whatever you get, you get? Like, I mean, is that a possibility? As we,
I think we do this. I think we do the sign up, and I think we do just the weighted entries. I think that's the most fair way to do it.
Yeah, that, I mean,
and
that
we'll have I'll make a form where you could select the ones you want to be part. It's almost like the way OHLQ does it, Ohio Liquor. Not that they're like a model of a model of consistency, but like when they do their yearly lotteries and you could sign up for a bottle, you don't have to sign up for all of them. You could pick which ones you want, and then you could put your name in for those specific bottles. And that's what we'll do. We'll take the names from those specific bottles. We'll put them in a bucket. If you're the highest tier, you'll get 5 entries. The next one down, you'll get 4 entries each.
Yeah.
And to the winners go the spoils.
Yeah. We're now we're now what? So we would technically be M&J, O and W, LQ.
Don't even start with that shit. Jesus.
Anyway, on that note, should we taste some Sagamore?
Yeah, Driftless is gonna drop through Shared Pour this Friday. So
yeah.
I'm gonna create a graphic and put my tasting notes and everything down tonight. I was gonna try to do it last night, but I was filming and just got too late. So I'll do that tonight when we're done here. Just make sure. James Lay, yeah, right. I know what you're talking about, but yeah,
the hidden cells.
All right, so all of these are 110 proof, 80% high rye, 20% low rye, between 9 and 10 years old. And we have barrel 9, barrel 53, barrel 56, and barrel 67. All right, so you want to start off with number 9?
Let's do her.
All right, number 9.
As soon as these things came in, I was like, man, look at the color on these bad boys.
Yeah.
Boy, that interesting kind of like mint, but it's like it's more of a almost like a black tea or something like that herbal characteristic, but with some sweet.
Yeah, this is very herbal up front, minty, sweet. Confectioner sugar, mint.
Yeah, it's got the little bit of chocolate, a little bit of that Andes Candies feel to it, kind of.
Oh, Andes Candy or Thin Mint Cookie.
There you go, Thin Mint. There you go. It could be that too.
Definitely Thin Mint Cookie. 'Tis the season, guys. If you haven't ordered your Girl Scout cookies, those kids are starting to come around and make us all fat.
Just go to the grocery store. They're everywhere.
Come on, man. Buy them from the Girl Scouts.
Well, that's what I mean. They're at the grocery store. The Girl Scouts.
Like they're out front. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
They're positioned. They're coming or going. It doesn't matter.
Scott's like, just go buy some knockoffs.
No. They're kind of like the $2 kid. I want my $2.
About to crack a Stag 24D. Hope it's as good as I hear it is, says Adam Hinson. I don't know, man. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm kind of over Stag. I don't know what it is. Just like, I have so many Stags. Some are great. Some are meh. They're with all the releases they're doing now with Stag, it feels like a Logic like barrel proof now a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel with Booker's. Like,
I'm kind of like, well, Booker's has been 3 or 4 releases for years now. Stag, I feel like we're getting more Stag than ever at this point. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I feel like when you do more, it kind of waters down the quality a little bit. But I haven't really heard a lot of people saying, oh my God, you got to get this Stag. You got to get this Stag. I just don't hear it too much anymore. Unless and like whenever I do a video on Stag, I mean, not many people care. Every comment's like, whatever. I won't see it. I mean, they're not wrong.
Right. Yeah, it is kind of a tough one. Man, $40 for Stag. Like, I mean, I guess for that, I mean, I guess you may as well, if you see it, buy it for that. But geez.
Yeah, Max, I'm still gonna do I'm getting a flight of all the 24 Stags sent to me to do a comparison. I mean, I'm just curious to try some, so yeah. Cookie dealers at the Kroger is gonna get you. I'm telling you, Maureen, the best thing for kids to do is go stand outside in front of like a Pink Floyd light show. Get those guys coming right out of the show and selling some cookies. You'll sell 1 million boxes in one night.
You probably would. Yeah. Anything that involves drinking, that's for sure.
Brad Tanica opened in 11 summer President's Choice on Sunday night in honor of the EAGLES. Congratulations.
Wow. Jeez. What a butt kicking that was. Man, oh man. I already tried it. Cheers.
Oh yeah, that is a rye drinker's rye. It's minty, it's spicy, chocolate. That is a thin mint cookie with black pepper all up in it.
Yeah, you kind of nailed it. It's a lot of that. Yeah, that sweetness kind of comes in. Yeah, you get that kind of rye pepper punch, and then that sweetness kind of starts to kind of hit maybe mid back of the palate finish part.
Yep.
Kind of wish it held up a little bit more. Does kind of seem to fall a little bit flat.
I'm just looking for I'm looking for more depth of flavor in it. I feel like this rye profile you can get in a lot of ryes. I want that Sagamore profile. So on to the next one.
Yeah. This kind of seemed to fall off pretty quickly from a finish standpoint.
Is it legal for kids to sell in front of dispensaries? I'm sure it is, but I don't know if the Girl Scouts of America want their kids standing out in front of a dispensary.
Yeah. I don't know if like a Girl Scout posting next to the store called High Times is like a great thing for the Girl Scouts.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm just saying though,
But from a marketing standpoint, it'd be fantastic.
From a sales standpoint, they would sell a shit ton of cookies.
For sure.
All right, so now we're going to barrel 53.
53, okay.
Well, this is a different animal.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. You know what it is? Does it kind of smell apple pie-ish to you?
Yeah, this is a baking spice heavy, and I got I mean, apple pie is good, but I was thinking more of a caramel. I got a lot of caramel on here, so maybe caramel apple.
That too. There's also a little bit of I don't know if it would be like a little bit of a grain note. Are you picking that up at all?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Stephen Wall says, "Oh, it's been done." I'm sure it has. Yeah, it's pretty. Oh man, I'm kind of digging the nose on this. It's different.
Yeah, it's definitely different. There's something that's got a little bit of a funkiness to it. I can't kind of put my finger on what that is.
You don't see Girl Scouts around much anymore. Just the parents bringing sign-up sheets to work. The mall here in Polaris Mall here in Columbus, they have this one like kiosk in the middle of the mall, and just different Girl Scout groups like rotate in and out of that throughout the day to sell cookies. God. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
People fighting over Samoas and shit.
Sounds like there should be child labor laws involved in that.
Just say it.
All right, cheers.
Oh, okay.
Man, that's completely different than the first one.
It's a whole other animal.
Man, I'm still getting this.
That's dark.
Like, this spicy, like, I don't know, apple pie or there's a funky note. Like there's like something that's there that's different. That'll be interesting to see kind of how that like holds up with the other two.
It almost comes off like a bourbon in some aspects.
Kind of does a little bit. Yeah, that definitely that caramel or that maybe brown sugar.
Caramel, apple. I think there's a little bit like a cedarwood note in it that's kind of making it funky.
Maybe that's what it is. Something that's different there. I would say there's something that's there that's not overly like in a lot of things. That's not like just a typical note.
And it reminds me of something. I'm trying to pinpoint what it is. It almost comes off like it's finished, but it's not.
That's what I was kind of thinking before. Is like I don't know if that like funkiness is coming across almost as like an earthy, like
it's got like
or an Armagnac or something.
Yes, that's exactly. It's got like this earthy.
Yeah,
this earthy type of back end scent and finish on it. It's
I would say,
interesting.
I would say definitely probably more Armagnac than cognac, where you
Yeah,
get
but not like mushroom earthy. This is
no,
like,
no.
This is like red wine earthy in a way.
Yeah,
we
tasted
Armagnac.
Remember when we had that mushroom juice at Luxro?
Oh, that was so bad.
Oh god, it was so bad.
I don't know what the hell that was.
I don't know.
I remember making fun of Chad for like an hour. Because Chad was like, "Wow, this is interesting." I'm like, "Dude, there's nothing interesting about that. Don't even think about buying that barrel."
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's got, I think, an Armagnac cognac funk on it is a good way to. You think they snuck a few of these in a Di Serono barrel?
I don't know. Like, I
know that's a liqueur. But I asked them when I got these samples, because I had to go pick them up. I asked him, like, what is Di Serono exactly? He goes, I'm like, is that aged in a barrel? He goes, oh no, it's a pure, like, synthetically made liqueur. There's no aging process. There's none of that. It's just made out of sugar and neutral grain spirit and done.
Yeah. Who doesn't like an amaretto sour?
Oh my God. Yeah. Kim actually drinks those.
Yeah. Those are
mushrooms. Is this a whiskey channel? Not those types of mushrooms, JG.
Yeah. Not those. That's for sure.
All right. I kind of like Barrel 50.
It's different.
We'll see how it holds up.
Different.
All right. Now we're going to Barrel 56.
All right, number 50. I'm gonna get a little.
Oh, I like 56 too. This one might be the most oak forward out of the three so far.
Good colors, as you guys can see. Nice colors on them.
Oh yeah, ham turkey. Yeah, Rancio. Rancio is like that. Well, Rancio to me is a little bit more of a nutty profile too. I'm not so much getting the nuttiness on there, but definitely getting like a fermented grapiness like to it on number 2 there.
Rancio. I've never even heard of that.
Rancio is like those deep, dark, almost funky, to a point, like rotten types of flavor notes that you actually look for. And actually, Nancy Fraley talks about it all the time. It's those notes that you look for in like an Armagnac and a cognac. It gives it like this extra lift of flavor and depth.
Extra dirty.
It's not dirt though. I don't know. Like when I taste it, when she describes tasting it, she's like, you'll get almost like a chestnut or like a burnt almond note to it in a way. So yeah. I
mean, rancio is a little too close to rancid to me.
Well, that's why. That's what it actually means. It's rancid.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Paul P. Any Blitz 2025 updates? I have emailed the folks at Heaven Hill to kind of jumpstart the conversation. So we'll see what happens. That's where we're hoping to have it. So
yeah, that'd be kind of fun to go back to Bardstown. We had a good time last year.
I think everybody did too. It's just a good time to go there. You can explore Kentucky a little bit, go to the distillers. I have some pretty cool ideas for if we can get it at Heaven Hill, but we'll see. I really like the nose on this one. What about you?
Yeah, definitely much. I guess I don't want to say like tried and true, but it definitely much more of like kind of that Sagamore representation. It feels like so. Yeah,
it's got the rye quality, but there's definitely a rich fruit character here. This reminds me more of like the Sagamore 8 a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it does feel like it's a little bit more like layered. So,
oh shit. That's good. Yeah, this is a really good. This is the profile I'm looking for. I wish it had a longer finish though, but I am just coming off having some water. I gotta go back into it.
There's a little more spice there. I think you'll start to kind of pick up there. It does linger definitely better than 1. I don't know if it's more or less than 2. But man, I mean, this is different than 2. That's for sure.
This is almost effervescent. Almost has like a like it's got like bubble. It's like it feels like it's carbonated in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like rye soda.
Yeah. It's kind of,
What's up, SoCal Jake? What month would you be thinking? Says Max. Probably around the same time. Probably due in September.
yeah. Well, what did we do last year? It was like the end of August, right?
No, we did September
Or
last year.
September. Yeah. September. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get orange here, little hint of strawberry,
Yeah. Much more fruity. That's for
kind of a lemon lime type aspect to it as well. This is really nice. Oak. You're right. I am getting more of a finish and some more spice on the back end. That's good.
it has a lot going on. Like I feel like this is one of those things that you can pull a lot from this whiskey. This has a lot going on. It's a good balance of sweet and spice. I wouldn't say there's like necessarily one more than the other. It feels like very, very well balanced.
Yeah, everything's in balance. And this one feels like its age. This one feels like it's a 9 to 10-year-old rye whiskey.
Yeah, that oak is there without you having to think about it, but it's adding to that like that darker richness that's there. The spice is really nice without it being overly heavily spiced.
Man, that's good.
Just good balance all the way through. Yeah, that's
really Kelsey, I missed my hard truth pick delivery today, unfortunately. I missed the stupid sign for delivery. I can't stand that shit. If there was one thing I miss about COVID, it's the contactless delivery when you don't have to get a signature.
Yeah.
They would just drop that shit at your door and say, move on. I'm like, yeah, can we go back to that? Because I can't stand all the signature shit.
Yeah, it is a bit annoying, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I should get it tomorrow. Hopefully I'm home when it gets delivered. But yeah, I was a little bit bummed about that. I missed it. That's a crazy good hard truth pick that they did.
All right,
man. This is getting so orangey now to me.
Yeah, it's starting to change. That's for sure. It's and it's easy to sip on. Like that's one thing. You're not like even focusing on all that proof. Like I mean, even 110 is just a nice sipping proof.
If we did a sticker for this, I'm going to call it Orange Crush because that's what it is.
It is that does definitely start to come out. That's for sure. The longer you sip on it. So yeah, that's night. I mean, man, night and day compared to the second one. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. The second one is still different. I like it for what it is, but we got to do a compare here. But let's go to the last barrel, which is barrel 67. See what we got 67.
Here. All right. Let's see what we got.
Seem to be getting better as we go along.
Yeah. Oh,
ooh, this is nice too.
This is I just think of that too. This is like that's kind of nice. I mean, honestly, it's almost a little bit of a nose between 2 and 3, kind of.
I totally agree, and I think there's a little dash of 1 in here too, because I feel like there's a little bit more spice.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, you are picking
Stephen Walt. That's why I started using an access point for my deliveries. Yeah, it's probably a good idea, Stephen. Humboldt Harry says, "Cheers, genitals." All right, I haven't heard that one yet.
That's something that like my spelling would take over if it went to Jeds. It would just like autocorrect to genitals. So I feel you, Humboldt.
All right, so this has again more that lemon lime mint, but there is some of that rich orange and dark fruit here that I'm getting in 3. Man. Oh, Trailer Park Boys. There you go. Sorry. Didn't watch that one. That's good. A little bit more of the orange crush here too, but with more spice.
Yeah, definitely more spice. I think that oak, maybe, I don't want to say like a little bit of dryness, maybe a little bit. It feels like there's a little more oak on this one.
Ooh.
Spice is nice on it.
Spice is good here. Big Rocco, hope you got the samples, Jason. Oh, I did, Big Rocco. Thank you. Sorry, I meant to get back to you, but just been crazy. I'll get your sample out in the mail here soon.
Oh, another one.
Man, I don't know.
Man, it's kind of tough.
Three and four are pretty close.
Man, that spice on 4 is crazy though.
The spices, yeah, the spice is kind of winning me over, I think, a little bit on 4.
It's really helping with that finish, like that sweetness balance. Like it's kind of it's not as funky as 2. Like 2 is the outlier, you know.
Yeah, 2 is the one that's like, I've never had a Sagamore like this before.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I wonder what coming off of 3 and 4, if we should just go like right back to 2 and see how that hits like right now.
Does
You know,
either
without,
3 or 4 have a dark fruit note? I don't think so, Max. I think 2 actually has the dark fruit note. 3 and 4 are like the lemon, lime, orange. I think 3 you can make a case for a little bit of a strawberry, which I guess you could kind of say is a dark fruit, but
I'm gonna go back to 2 real quick. I want to see what that.
yeah,
what
me
that's
too.
I want to see like what it's gonna taste like.
Dude, 2 is I love the nose on 2. It almost smells like a Thomas H. Handy because it's got like that really sweet oak profile on it.
Man, 2 is different, man.
That's so crazy.
That earthiness that's there is. I mean it like stands out. There's no doubt. Like yeah, if you told me that was finished, I'd believe you 100%. It has that kind of effect to it.
And if you told me that was Sagamore, I don't know if I'd believe you.
No, yeah, I mean I don't think I've ever had a Sagamore that even remotely tastes like this. So
Oh, dude.
yeah, this is
I like
kind
that
of
a lot.
it's kind of an interesting decision as to like what way we kind of go with this one, you know.
2 has also a sneaky long finish. Just kind of goes. You run with it.
Yeah, it's definitely an off-profile one. Like it is not a typical Sagamore profile.
2 might have the longest finish. It's still going. It just runs. It's just like I could still feel the spice and the lingering flavors on the back end of this one.
Do you know like what these are? Or did he tell you ages or did he not tell you any of that stuff?
Dude, I told you what it was. They're all between 9 and 10 years old.
Oh, I thought one was like older or something. I thought one was like already approaching like really like 10 years old or
He said
something.
one of them was close to 10, but he didn't tell me which one it was.
Oh, okay.
You think it's this one? You think it's 2?
I don't know. It's just so different. I mean, it's like one kind of feels like just flatter.
Yeah, I'm eliminating one. Barrel 9 for me is out because that's like, I don't know, that just comes off like a very typical rye.
Yeah.
Man, 53 though that thing is different. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Go with the last one. Love me some orange and spice, says Dave Muller. I mean, 2 has a little bit of that too, but it's got this funkiness to it that's just different. Definitely the longest finish too on number 2 as well. Can you narrow it down to 2 of them?
I think so.
All right, hold on. Let me go back between the last 2 here because they're so close. I don't know which one I like more. Man, Barrel 56 is good. We go to 60. Was it 62? 67?
67.
Yeah, 67 has a little bit more spice to it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I'm between 2 and 4.
Yep, I'm with you. All right, so 56 goes home.
All right, so
we are between 53 and 67 right now.
All right, let me freshen the palate up here a little bit. Even though I don't know if that's a great thing or not. Like, yeah, I'm going to.
Well, you gotta take a couple sips after you have some water because it stays on your palate. Yeah. So that's the thing, Eric. 2 sounds a lot like the 7-year Bottle and Bond from last year for the Bottle and Bond. Maybe I respect the hell of both your palates, but a 2-person barrel pick seems outside the norm. Says Nick. Yeah, I mean, honestly, sometimes you have to do it this way. There just is not enough sample to go around. So,
yeah, we try. Yeah, as often as we can, Nick. We try to get people like with all the in person stuff. So this was one of those things. Yeah, without having all the samples, and sometimes they're not. They don't always want to send everything. It kind of gets a little bit complicated. So
yeah, I mean, I have enough here. I mean, if we wanted to get like an opinion from Dusty Dan or somebody, we could definitely do that.
yeah,
But they wanted us to pick this sooner than later, so that's why we're kind of jumping on and doing this.
yeah. This one kind of happened pretty quickly too. So
yeah, this went from just chatting to I'm sending you samples. I was like,
yeah, that's literally what it was. That's what it was. All right, I think I'm gonna taste 67 first before 53, just to see what that will be like again. Actually, I don't know if I should pour the rest of that in there or not. Kind of burning through these pretty quickly. Try to keep this from being a solidarity kind of night.
Dude, if you're getting solidarity after 4 samples, you have you got to eat a cheeseburger or something.
I'm not. I'm good.
Oh man.
I still keep getting this kind of like slate, like apple pie feel like on some of these things a little bit, even on 67. Love the spice on it.
I love the spice on 67.
But then later on, here comes that like, citrusy, the orange, lemon, like it's a little bit later,
I don't know which one I like more. 53 is just a whole nother experience.
Man. Yeah, I do like the spice on 53 though. Shit.
53 has this sneaky long finish that just goes. But 67 has a spice that's more in your face.
This is where like we've kind of run into this before. Like, do you go like I don't want to say 67 feels more like in line or traditional than 53, but it's more closer to what Sagamore is than 53 is.
For sure. I would agree with that.
So it's
Ben Chrisman says, what's your favorite Sagamore shelfer? Definitely the cast strength for me. I don't know if you would put the 8 or 9 years as shelfer. I don't think so. But the 8 years probably been my favorite release that they've ever done.
Yeah, that's been a fantastic one. I mean, hell, you can't even, if we're talking like, I don't know if the double oak would count or not, but that's a fantastic one too.
The double oak, if we're talking about available, it'd be cast strength and double oaked. I love those two. Yeah.
I'll say this about the only thing that sometimes can be a little bit tricky with the cast strength for me is I start to pull out that like dill note, like that pickle note a little bit sometimes. And when I get that, it is off-putting to me. And it's a no-go at that point. So
really from the blended cast strengths?
Once in a while I do. Yeah. Especially like just the shelfer or something. I'll pick up a little bit of a dill note. So man, this is tough. I'm trying to really think about like now you get into like what others are going to enjoy more.
The bar is high. We need a new Sagamore.
Yeah, that was great, man. That thing was fantastic.
You know what? I think I have some right here. I might pull it out just to see if I could figure out like what it's closest to out of these.
You know what?
See if any of these are actually better.
Yeah. All right. Let's do that. All right. Let's slow this thing down. Let me get a little Sagamigos here as well.
Which one is that one? That's the trifecta. Do I have a Sagamigos up here? I think I. Oh, is this it? Yep, got it.
Oh man.
Sagamigos.
I don't know for some of you guys, maybe some of you have never even seen the sticker of the 3 Sagamigos. That's probably one of the best stickers ever, though.
Yeah, we love that one.
That was a fun. That was both a fun and horrible time. It was a mixture of. it was both great and horrible all at the same time.
Yeah, I think we had some bad cigars that night, and we all got sick the next morning. It was pretty bad.
God. Yeah, it hit Dusty and I much quicker than it hit Jason. So, but it was a struggle.
Oh wow, the 3 Sagamigos is completely different than both of these. This almost gets into more of a baking spicy,
a little more candied.
Candied, yeah.
What I think honestly is happening here is the age, that oak and that spice is now ramped up a little bit more. You're starting to get a little bit more out of.
Yeah, because 3 Sagamigos is only 7. Yeah. These are between 9 and 10. So the flavor, there's definitely more oak influence here. And while the spice is there on this one, it's not as bright as the 3 Sagamigos.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, the 3 Sagamigos, man, when you compare it, it's definitely brighter. It's actually a little bit more candied, which is interesting.
Yeah, I would agree. A little more, it feels a little more tamed down. There's a lot more going on, more oak and more spice in these new ones than there is these. But yeah, like Jason said, I mean, we're talking about 2.5, almost 3 years difference. So there should be some differences. So
pick what you like, Scott, not what you think I'd like. That's why I subscribe to you guys, says Kenneth Clark.
Yeah, it's just tough because we get into that. Like, there's oftentimes, like, even when we're doing other selections, you get into like what it is you like, and then it gets into like what we both like, and then a combo, and then what you guys like. So it kind of becomes a package of all of that. So
yeah, I think it just goes to, when it comes down to it, it's just we got to just pick the best barrel we think it is and not really worry about it. So
I would agree.
I think we've had a pretty good track record. Whatever we think is the best one, it'll work. But all right, I'm taking a couple more sips of each, and I'm gonna decide my top, and then you do the same, and then we'll see where we are.
Okay.
And then if we both have differing bottles, well, I'll send the rest of these to Dusty Dan because he has a lot of Sagamore and he loves it, and we can get his like a third opinion. And whichever way he sways, that'll be the pick. This way we'll get a third person involved here.
Oh, man.
All right, so Barrel 53, to me, it's the darkest of all of them. It's probably the richest. I think it's actually has the best mouthfeel out of all 4. And it's got a sneaky long finish that's not as in your face as 67. And there's definitely more of an oak punch here.
Yeah.
And at 110 proof, I don't know if just because we've had a few here, but are you finding this one very crushable?
53?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just like the components of it. Like, I like how it has those earthier, like richer, like kind of profiles to it. Like,
but there is the orange and the spot, like it's in there, but I feel like it's wrapped up around a little bit of a darker profile overall.
Yeah, like I feel like what you just described, like more of that orange, more of that lemon is then in 67. Like I think that shows up more in that.
I really like 67, but I've had that before. I'm really digging 53. That's my number one.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too, to be honest. I mean, I like that. I like that richer, darker profile anyway. So.
Like 53, I would put that up against a lot of other high age rise. I think that one is really, really good.
I was kind of locked into that one. Like once he started getting that funky, like Armagnac, cognac kind of feel to it, like it added a little bit of a richness that I think a lot of people aren't going to get with Sagamore stuff. So if we're talking about
Yeah.
like a little bit of an outlier, something a different kind of profile
Yeah,
to Sagamore.
it's the that was the differentiator, and I feel like
Yeah.
how dark it is too. And the more I
Yeah.
sip it, I'm getting the orange in here, but it's more of like a darker blood orange rather
Yeah.
than like a bright citrusy orange peel. There's a lot of depth to this barrel, and I think there's a sneaky long finish here, and I also think that, like I said before, if any of these stick around, you guys should buy backups because this is if it tastes like this, like once it's barrel, I mean it's crushable, but it's like
Yeah.
good crushable.
It does start to get into a little bit of that like late, when you get a little bit of that like orange brownie kind of feel with that Armagnac kind of like funky, like there's something cool about 53 that just makes it different and unique, but still very, very enjoyable. Yeah.
And the more I go back to this, it is getting very orangey, very rich. 53 is really good. All right. And then it's like caramel coated orange peels.
Man, I don't even think it's like a sneaky finish anymore. Like I just think it's a good finish. That spice is there, it lingers.
Yep.
That sweetness is up front. You get that. And then as it sits on the palate, you swallow, that spice really builds and then kind of works with a little bit of that sweet layer that's there.
It's got a great, I think it's easily the best texture out of all four of these.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more silky than the other three.
Yeah. Well, this kind of works. This kind of works for like what I enjoy in whiskey, those darker profiles. So,
yeah, I mean, I didn't expect a darker profile like this with Sagamore, but this is kind of in line with, this is closer to me, it's closer to the Sagamore 9-year release, like the general release, which had a little bit more oak to it. And I think that falls in line with what we're tasting here, which is really good.
Yeah.
But the other three we had, Barrel 9, which was the first one, that was extremely minty, very herbal, almost a black licorice type note to it. And the last two barrels, which were 56 and 67, these are the ones that were very lemon lime orange, and they were pretty close to each other. Just one had more spice in our face than the other one did. Whereas 53, this one feels like it's almost 10 years old. Oak, dense flavor, orangey, caramel. Yeah, this is really good. So.
It kind of feels like the barrel or barrels are doing some work like on these whiskeys, like or on this whiskey. Like it is just different. So like if you guys appreciate something that's going to be just not what you can go to your local store and pick up like anything from Sagamore, like I don't think you're going to taste something else quite like this. This is pretty interesting. I kind of want to finish it, but I'd also like, Dusty just to try it and see what he thinks as well.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna send these two to Dusty, see what he thinks.
Yeah.
Okay. So here are the three finishes, and Scott, you can see the color differences here. The middle one, the middle one here is the darkest one, and this is the Amontillado sherry finish. You see the differences?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is the heavy sherry finish that we got. This one here, all the way on my left, is the cognac finish, and all the way to my far right is the Pinot de Charente finish. So again, I tasted through these last night. I'm not really sure if these are on the table yet, but I'm gonna just whip through these here real quick, and I want to see if these improved from what they were last night. As far as the best nose, so my issue with the cognac finish, while it was good, it's not very. So you remember the trifecta one we did, that VDN?
Oh yeah, yep.
Just like how viscous and how integrated that finish was.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like it's Sagamore with like a little bit of a layer of cognac on it. It's like disjointed. It's not like fully integrated, and I don't know. And I feel like it's killing a lot of the spice that Sagamore has, and that to me wasn't as interesting. Yeah, it doesn't taste like a finished Sagamore. It tastes like somebody poured cognac in my Sagamore. Does that make sense?
So the cognac part is like pretty heavy from like that part of it. Like it's
not a heavy finish, but I don't feel like it's integrated or working well with the Sagamore profile. It's kind of taking over, but it's also not working well with the flavors that I like in Sagamore, like the orange and the spice. Like I don't know if the cognac has killed the spice on it or if that's just the barrel they chose to finish it, but it's definitely killed the spice on it. And to me, that's kind of a no-go immediately.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go to the Amontillado, which is a sherry finish. And this is what you want on the nose. It's a little bit nutty, a little bit chocolatey, a little bit fruit forward, dark fruit, kind of a little bit of a black raspberry. It actually tastes better than it did yesterday. I'm getting more orange than I did yesterday. I felt like the sherry wasn't, kind of like the cognac, it wasn't really integrating well. Again,
I wonder how long these have been finished for. Wonder how long the finishing part is.
So it tells you this one has been finishing for 4 years.
Oh my god, 4 years.
Now again, these are second and third fill barrels, so it probably has to sit in there for a little while.
Yeah, okay.
This was barreled in 2020. I mean, actually no, over 5 years, 2025. Yeah, 108.8 proof. And it actually drinks that way. It actually drinks a little bit lower than 108. I feel like this, if you told me this was 100, I'd believe you.
Really? Okay. See, that's where I feel like sometimes where that sweetness kicks in, where it lowers what it feels like the proof is. Like if it's drinking like 100, like that sweetness is really like knocking the proof down, at least from a feel standpoint. So
yeah. And number 3 here, which is the Pinot de Charente. This one was actually my favorite last night. But it's got a funky. This one, you talk about being funky. This one has the funk. Yeah, I don't like that anymore. It's weird. It's too acidic. It's almost sour.
Oh,
which I do not like. So honestly, the Amontillado has become my favorite, which is interesting after letting these open up, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, not digging the Pinot de Charente. The cognac's a little disjointed, but the Amontillado is actually tasting pretty good right now.
Well, I guess where do you put it with? I guess with 53. I guess how do you now?
It's hard to beat cherry or port finish on a rye. Yeah. Just cracked a great one, not Sagamore, but dang good. Yeah, Paul P. That great one barrel, that backbone is beautiful. Speaking of the backbone,
yes, they located it.
They located the finished one that we picked. However, in true M&J form, it's a short barrel.
Yeah,
there's like 73 bottles or something like that.
Yeah,
it's not a lot. So it is thick and rich, and it's crazy. So yeah. Man, I got to tell you, on the nose, I kind of like our barrel 53 better.
Oh, interesting. All right.
On the palate, yeah, I think the 53 is more interesting. The Amontillado finish is great, but it lacks depth. I think 53 has depth.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's
So
definitely different. I mean, at least from a rye whiskey standpoint or their profile, like 53 is definitely that off profile, something different, unique, and again,
but
this is
I mean, I think it's slightly off profile, but it's also on profile in many ways. It's it's not as spicy and minty and as citrusy as you get in most Sagamores,
Mhm.
but I do think there is some of that there, but it's kind of covered by more oak, a little bit more of a velvety type of mouthfeel. It's just really good.
Yeah, it's a rich profile, that's for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, this is good stuff.
All right, so we'll stick with 53 no matter what.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, and usually there's a with these like, being filled the way they are, usually there's a pretty good yield, I believe.
Yeah, there's usually a good yield on these, probably close to 200 bottles usually, but we'll see how it goes. Um, I mean, if you guys are really into the Amontillado, I can see what the availability of this is too. You guys let me know in the chat. This is my favorite of the three to this point. So if you guys want me to check on it, I can. Um, it's just a really good. It's a very good sherry finish rye. I just wish it had a little bit more depth and a little bit more spice. That's all. Again, that's another very crushable sample. The proof again being 108.8. I guess they're all proof to 108.8. Is that what they all are? Oh no, the Pinot is 103.8,
Oh.
and the Cognac is 105.6. Interesting.
Oh, so something's really bringing the proof down. Do
Yeah.
we do we
So
know the barrel?
this is the highest proof one here.
Do we know the entry proof with Sagamore at all?
They go in 125.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I'm not sure about the reserve series. I don't know if they're using just one lone mash bill for that. I could ask David about that, see what he says. I don't know if they're taking their blend and then putting it in a finished barrel. I'm not really sure how they're working it, but I would imagine they are. But yeah, if you guys want in the chat, let me know. Do you want me to look in on the Amontillado? It's definitely the best of the three, but I still think it's not as good as 53. And again, I'm not even sure of the availability of Amontillado. He sent these, and he thinks we could get one of these, but I'll check in on that. But Barrel 53 is definitely the winner for us here.
yeah, that was just a fantastic. I mean, that's just a fantastic whiskey overall.
So
So
it's so good. It's so
yeah.
deep and dark, and I'm gonna pour a little more of this because
You know,
it's good.
I kind of think like, I mean, at 110 proof, the way they have these things, they do make these things like very, very crushable. Like that's a really good proof. Again, we're not talking about cast strength or anything like that. Of course, everything is proof down, but man, that thing for it being 110 proof, that's a fantastic rye
This
whiskey.
is so good. It's
It
so
is.
good.
I mean, I don't want to drink. I don't have much left. I want to see what I'd like to get on with Dusty and see what he says. I want to keep a little bit of these two just to see.
I'm gonna send this, and I'm gonna send Barrel 67 to Dusty and see what he thinks.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'd be kind of cool just to see what he thinks of the two. So
Yeah, for sure.
all right. Let's see. Anything else? What do we have? So all right. So collectively, we've selected barrel number 53, 110 proof. We'll figure out all the bottling. Is this going to be a shared pour?
This one,
Yeah.
I think so. I have to talk about it with Jay, but
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I know he's a little scared of Sagamore. Sagamore doesn't always usually sell, but we'll see what these look like.
Yeah.
But I feel like we have a track record with Sagamore. Our two releases we've done have been incredibly well received. So I think you guys know what we're doing with Sagamore.
Yeah.
I recently ran across a few bottles while doing a JD pick and picked a few up. Of the sherry finish was insane good. I ran across, yeah. So this Amontillado finish is definitely different than their uh, release finish. If 53 is a shorty, you get the Amontillado. Nothing wrong with having more
it probably
Sagamore.
won't be a shorty.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they say.
Yeah, usually we have pretty good yields, especially with them being able to like fill these things the way they do. They can kind of, I mean, unless it's aged a while, but hopefully we'll have a good yield on these. But yeah, we'll check and see what the what we have for these. So
I'm actually going to send I'm gonna send David. Hey, David. This is Jason. We just chose barrel 53.
Actually, I'm going to have a little bit of the...
Any details you can give me on that barrel?
Summer. Let's go with a little summer jam here. Oh, God, this thing.
The VDM?
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing was super special, man.
I don't have any more Glens, but man, oh man, that thing was fantastic.
Man, I love this barrel so much. Now I'm getting like cinnamon, orange in this. This is so good.
Oh, that VDN was so good.
I know, and it also added like a silky texture to it.
Oh man, like that burnt spicy orange. It's beautiful.
Yep, it's so good.
Jeez. God, that thing is good. Yeah, we kind of have a little bit of the evolution of Sagamore. I mean, we were kind of in like when they were first doing these things with the 3 Sagamigos, and then 2 years ago with Trifecta. What else did we have?
Sagamore cherry finishes are generally loved by most, and Amontillado is that Sagamore release impossible to guess, so this could be desirable, says Whiskey Habit. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll add that too. As far as the finished barrels,
and that's good. So is this our third? Is this our third or fourth? The Sagamigos. We have the Trifecta, and is that it?
Yeah, 3 Sagamigos was the first one. Then we did. Yeah, this will be our third.
Okay. All right. For some reason, I was thinking this was our fourth. I don't know what the third one I was thinking was, but
yeah, did we have one before 3 Sagamigos?
I don't know. I could have swore we did like another one. I thought, but maybe not.
Maybe we didn't. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, we didn't do sherry. We just did. Man. Okay. Well, whatever. All right. So I guess. All right. So obviously we'll go with 53. And then this Friday, stay tuned. So we'll be dropping the Driftless, our bourbon and rye. So we're looking forward to that. So that was one originally we wanted kind of around Christmas, but it just didn't work out for timing and getting bottles in and delivery and all of that. So
real quick, Scott, do you still have the note? Did you take the notes down from the 2 barrels you picked?
For
did you take any notes? Yeah. Like, do you remember the ages of the bourbon and the rye?
I'll have to look and see if I can find my notes. I don't know if I have that with me or not. Hang on, let me see if this is it.
I believe the rye was actually, I think Jason Coates gave them to me. Hold on a second, because we can give you guys the ages. Let's see, where's he at? There he is. Okay. Yeah, so he told me what they had selected.
Yeah, we had some older stuff.
Mm-hmm. So the rye was 8 years, 278 days when it was pulled. And Justin said that was a few weeks ago, so it's damn near 9 years. The rye is dark grape orange, and we call that Watermelon Jolly Rancher. Very on profile for Driftless Glen. Then he said, my recollection of the bourbon was a little fuzzier.
we tasted quite a bit of stuff.
But so. I think the bourbon was, I think you said it was 9 or 10 years old. If I remember
it was an older. It was honestly one of their older bourbons. So they had to go digging for this one. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. So good ages on both Driftless Glens.
Yeah, really good stuff. I mean, yeah, I think we got some of their older stuff again, and we're in line to do a 10 plus year when they start releasing those. So there won't be a lot of that. So I think just with us doing so many of these things that we're kind of in the rotation for doing them. So that'll be pretty awesome to get you guys something like that. So
Let's see here. Yeah, as far as the backbone, we don't know when that's going to come out. But again, it'll be a short barrel.
We should hear something probably pretty soon with our Corbin Cash, I would imagine.
I would imagine that's coming in any minute.
Yeah.
And we're also the second Russell's barrel, I think is actually on the way to hit Keg and Bottle. So I actually think the two Russell's picks will be our next two releases, I think. So
could be a lot of good stuff. Like, I mean, this is what kind of happens oftentimes, is we get kind of like inundated with things, but we'll let you guys know. And I know trying to space things out is important. It's a great thing, but we don't unfortunately have all the control over that. So we do what we can to try to keep it at least spaced out for you guys as much as possible. But we'll kind of let you know as these things start to come in and we hear what's going on. We can at least give you some word as to kind of when we think these things are going to drop. So, but yeah, this Friday again, Driftless Glen, the bourbon and the rye. So we're looking forward to these. So it's been a while since I was able to taste these things. Whatever I had left, I sent to Jason for him to kind of taste through and kind of come up with some of the donut names. We were lost with the bourbon, that's for sure. But the rye was crazy. So, but anyway, that's I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's it. We, for any of you guys wondering about the Heaven Hill barrels and the Fuxardo cherry, we haven't heard anything yet from it, so we'll keep you posted when those come in. The Larceny and the Elijah Creek Barrel Proof, those are going to fly once they drop. What were the warehouses on the Russells? So I could tell you now what they were. Give me 1 second. I believe they were both Tyrone. Maybe one was a Camp Nelson. Let me see. Well, the rye was a Tyrone Q.
Yeah.
Which was different. So that was a Tyrone Q. I did take pictures of the barrels, I believe. Let me see. Was this it, or was this the? No, those are the Heaven Hill barrels. Okay, let me go up to the other ones here.
Yeah, hell, I'm looking forward to those things. I didn't have a chance to go to that pick. I was, I don't know, out of town or whatever it was, but
yeah, yep.
Heck, I'm looking forward to tasting those things. So,
All right, so here's the write up. Oh no, that was just for the rye. I'm sorry. Let me go back to my photos. I don't know where the hell it is. I thought I had it in the discussion I had with Shem, but I don't see it. All right. He did send me, I think, one of the photos of one. Nope. Oh, okay. This is one of the photos here. Let me zoom in on this here. So our first one was a, what the hell does that say? Jesus, I can't even fucking read that.
Yeah, gotta love old eyes, right?
Is that a Tyrone? Sorry, let me move this closer to me. I want to say Tyrone B. Tyrone B, fourth floor. Let me see what the other one was. Hold on a second. Wayne Arnold. Oh yeah, the other one was
C&E. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Wayne was there, so
yeah. The other one was a Cam Nelson E, which was was I think our favorite one. So
yeah. Cam Nelson E. Yeah, okay, all right, that makes sense. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, was one E, but
yeah, it was a Cam Nelson. It was a Cam Nelson E, but
yeah,
you know, my brain is so friggin' foggy at that point. Oh yeah, here it is. I did take all the photos. So Tyrone Q. Let me double check this one. Yeah, Camp Nelson E, fourth floor. At barrel proof, it was 114.6, which is interesting because it'll only get proof down to 110, so that's damn near barrel proof, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then that other one, it is a Tyrone B. Tyrone B, fourth floor. This one was 117.2, which will get proof down to 110. So there you go.
Yeah, they were.
That one was 9 years old, and the Camp Nelson E is 10 years old. Yeah, 10 years old. Just under 10 years old. So, yep, there you go.
Who knows? By the time they bottle that thing, it could be 10 years old.
Well, I mean, it's been bottled. We're just waiting for it to arrive. So yeah, those are our barrels coming in for the Russells. I know the Camp Nelson E is probably gonna be the first to go, but the Tyrone B, from what I remember, was really delicious too. So
yeah, they were all great. So man, that was just a good. Anytime you can get into to turkey and kind of just taste through the barrels, and it's a straightforward approach. Just, here, we'll thieve the barrels. You guys try it. Whatever it is you like. I mean, it's a straightforward approach. No bells and whistles. That's for sure.
Well, Max, remember, I asked him what's kind of the trend for 2025, 2024. There was a good mix of Camp Nelson E's and Tyrones. But I think 2025, he said, most of the single barrels you'll see will be Tyrone warehouses because that's where they're hitting. So we'll see how it goes along. But looks like we got a Camp Nelson before maybe they started going away a little bit. But we'll see.
Well,
may not be much Camp Nelson coming out this year. So if we're lucky enough to grab an E, yeah, Wayne was there. They were all fantastic, and we had quite the pick team that day. It was good.
Well, I suppose they have to rotate through these things. I mean, if they just hammer on like one Rick all the time, like they're just going to diminish everything that they've got in there. So they're going to have to spread this stuff around a little bit to let things age and bring stuff down, move it around, or whatever it may be. But,
here's what's interesting. They got 2 picks in a keg and bottle. They took our Tyrone B, and they also got one from David Jennings, Rarebird 101. He did a Tyrone G, but if you look at the dates and everything, the dump dates, they're like almost exact. So when it was distilled, his was 2/13/15, ours was 3/2/15. Dumped 10/22/24 on his, ours was 10/22/24 on ours. They were both dumped the same day.
Yeah, same.
And they were bottled one day apart. His was bottled 11/14/24. Ours was bottled 11/13/24.
Wow.
So they were, super, super close in profile, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting.
So yeah, we had I'm like, great minds think alike, great palates. So
yeah, we ended up with some great whiskey again. So that was another fun day. So I always like going down to Turkey and doing those things. It's a fun pick or picks to do. That's for sure. So, but all right, guys, I think that's kind of a wrap. So we ended up with a great Sagamore pick, and Jason will check and see whether or not the other ones may be on the table or not. We'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, other than that, hey, we appreciate all the support more than you guys know. And you guys and ladies are the ones that keep this thing going. So we appreciate all of that, the feedback, any of that. Reach out to us if you guys ever have any questions. And we're here for whatever that may be. So again,
yeah, we'll keep you posted next week as far as what we select, and we'll keep you guys posted as always. Josh Fritz, the Tyrone Cube is the rye that already released, so no more Tyrone Qs.
No more Qs, that's for sure. So yeah, keep your eyes and ears peeled, as they say. And for a Friday, we'll be dropping the Driftless, like we mentioned before, the bourbon and rye, and it'd be nice to kind of get back to releasing some bottles. I know January, February has been a little bit slow, but things are trickling in now, so it should start to kind of ramp up for you guys here now. So, but with that, we appreciate all the support, and yeah, reach out if you have any questions or anything anytime. So, thanks guys for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.